You're listening to the PMU Student. This podcast serves as a virtual study group for cosmetic tattoo artists. Together, we're creating an educational hub for S&P and PMU professionals. And I'm the group's facilitator, Leslie Bland. So let's dive in. Welcome to the PMU Student.
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Chelsea. I have been doing permanent makeup for about a year now, I would say.
Okay.
But I've been doing brows for about 2.5 years now. And honestly, I've grown. So I started with just brows and then I moved into permanent makeup and then, ended up I was working for someone and then I went on my own again. But before that, I was on my own. So it's just kind of been a journey to get where I'm at now. And it's been great, though. It's been great. It's been wild. It's been great.
Yeah. Chelsea, so you've only been doing PMU for 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Your work is so bomb. And I'm not just saying that. I was looking and I was like, damn. I was like, okay, I've seen your work on melanated skin up to really fair skin. I was just like, oh shit, she's probably been doing this for a while because look at her technique, look at that color she's getting to pop on that dark skin. A year?
Yeah.
My God, that's crazy.
This is all I have to say. I have this uncanny ability to just figure shit out. No, I'm just kidding. But
Talk your
I
shit.
have this I have this drive in me where I've always had, like, if I want something, I'm going for it, and I usually go full in. So I do think that that's something I have to give myself a little bit of props for, because I am kind of head first when I do something, which not everybody does that, and that's okay. Before I learned permanent makeup, though, I was pretty like borderline obsessed with learning everything that I could before I went and took like the actual course and everything. I was, following all the people that were doing like nano brows and powder brows, combo brows, like all the stuff that was coming out. And so I was really just kind of like honed in on learning even before I took the class. And so then when I took the class, it kind of just clicked. I was like, oh, this makes sense.
You were an esthetician, or you're still an esthetician?
Yes.
And you focus on brows. So did you map a lot when you were doing lamination and brow tinting?
Yes. So I actually started out, when I started with brows, I actually started out mapping.
Okay.
Because I knew that was done in permanent makeup. And so I knew that eventually that's kind of where I wanted to go. So I just started with that. And there was no way to go wrong there, even though they were non-permanent brows. So I started with mapping people out when I was in school. And I learned that offline, anywhere. So.
Yeah. So how long had you been mapping brows before you started doing permanent makeup?
Well, brows total, probably what, like 2.5 years.
Still, so not too long, but long enough. So anybody, and I'm going to say this with full confidence, can tattoo something onto your body, but not everybody can map, okay?
Yeah.
And so if you can map, so if you are starting off in your shit tattooer, map, because my first couple, the mapping was impeccable. So it doesn't matter.
Let me tell you though, when I first started out mapping, it was horrendous. All right.
Yeah,
I think I could get, because I have these little books that I made for non-permanent brows a long time ago. I could get that and I could show you. It's in there. The very first set of brows that I mapped were on my sister, and it was horrible. It was horrible. But at the time, I didn't think it was horrible. At the time, that was all I knew. And I was like, okay, well, I know this is not what I want it to look like, but I know this is what I can do right now. And I feel like this is pretty good for right now. So there's also a little bit of giving yourself grace too, while you're learning. So I feel like that was also something I learned later, the grace part. So about 2.5 years I've been doing, just brows. So that's about the time that I started, because I actually started doing brows when I was in school. Because we learned them one day. It kind of went like this. We learned them one day, and when I say learn, I mean, very vague. This is how you don't burn somebody's brows off. This is how you wax. That's it, and I had spent a lifetime trying to figure out how to do my own brows because I don't have any actually. These are drawn on. These aren't even permanent makeup. And so I did this girl's brows. Her name was Hannah. She was my partner, you know, and then everybody had kind of got their brows done. And then everybody looked at Hannah and was like, Hannah, where'd you get your brows done? And she was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, your brows look amazing. They're like, Chelsea did. We just did them in the class. And everyone was like, oh my God. Yeah. It literally just blew up from there. It wasn't like I planned on being the brow doctor at all by any means. I went to school to be an esthetician because I knew I wanted a better life because I had just had my son and I wanted to focus on starting a career path instead of just having like jobs, you know, all over the place. So it really just happened. It spiraled out from there. And then everyone was like, can you do my brows? Can you do my brows? And it just kind of got crazy.
So I know we're not supposed to compare, but I'm going to be really vulnerable. So my work is decent, you know, but it's still like, I thought you were in the game for so long because when I looked, it's such clean, like tattoo work, you know? And so like your saturation is so even. And I was like, whoa. So now I think about like, how long were you practicing? Cause you say when you get into something, go head first into it. Is that your baby saying hi?
It
That's
is,
all
yeah.
right.
Sorry. So you
Yeah.
were saying though.
I was really impressed by your ability to have even saturation. It looks like you've just been practicing and practicing and practicing.
So I will say, I was practicing a lot before I even. So I had actually bought a machine online, which I want to say this. I want to say this for anybody that has not started permanent makeup yet. Okay, let me be so fucking real for a second. I went online. I went to one of those famous artists who like does really great work, and I won't mention names, okay? But she does really great work, and she was selling machines for like $500. Don't do that. Do not do that. One, it was not worth it when I got it in the mail. Two, it's not a necessity for you to have good work. It is
Hmm.
a necessity for you to have a quality machine, yes, but there are many quality machines that you could buy right now that are much, much cheaper, like on Amazon. That's just the marketing of like social media and these companies. They're like, this is what you need. I mean, it's just marketing in general. I went to school for marketing, so I get it. They do a phenomenal work, and then they put a machine to that work, and they're like, if you want to do this work, you need this machine. That's not the
Right.
case. So don't do that. Your work is not dependent on the machine. Your work is dependent on you. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I was so mad at myself because I went later and found out that this kind of gets into a lot, all right? But I went later and found out that the same machine could be purchased off of Alibaba in bulk for like, I don't know, I think it was under $60.
Yes, I want to jump in
You know,
again. You know, beware of this is going to sound crappy, but beware of influencers because they're good at what they did, but I guarantee you that they did not start off with a $600 machine.
no,
And when you're just starting off and trying to market things, probably you're buying things in wholesale that's not as quality as you think that it is. So they're not bad people. They're not doing anything bad. They're doing what the industry does, but you don't need that.
you don't
Take their
need it,
course. Take their course, do their technique, but you
right?
don't need that machine.
No, you don't. 1,000%. Because that's the, and they're not bad. No, I don't think they're bad people. I
No, they're
think
not.
that, you know, they're definitely finessing the industry a little bit. I think that maybe a 500% markup is a little bit much for me. I personally wouldn't do it, but you know what? People do it every day. They're out here trying to make a living. Who am I judge them? I'm not Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But other than that, I bought the pad online, or no, the pad came with the machine that I bought, right? So I decided I'd been following this lady. I was like, I want to do her work. Like, I want to do what she does. I want to, you think like you want to live that life almost, you know? And I was like, all right. So I got all that and I started practicing immediately. I started watching the videos on how the needles were hitting the the fake skin, right? Like how they were shading. And I think there might be a piece here that's missing is that I've always been able to draw significantly well since I was very young. Yeah.
Artist.
So I just want to throw that out there. So yes, to to make make it a little bit better. I've always been able to draw really really well, and so I kind of just started to watch how they did it with the machine versus how I would shade with the pencil. And it's much, much different. So when I first started and I picked up the machine, I was like, this is nothing like drawing, nothing at all. I found that one of the things that I learned is that I was dragging it through the skin. Right. And I think from my period of doing brows, that as long as I've been doing them now, I've realized that that is one of the biggest things that I think people struggle with, and they may not even know, is that they're heavy handed. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I have found, that if I could give to anybody that's practicing, is try to be more on the light-handed side than the heavy-handed, because it'd be better for you to be too light-handed than too heavy to start.
Absolutely.
Because you could always figure out your pressure later and add more, because that was my problem. Once I started doing brows, I actually was doing them too light. There it is.
At this point, for your continuing education, how are you finding a lot of your sources?
I currently have not signed up for any additional courses. I think I've just been focusing on growing my business, because I've just expanded. So I started teaching classes, but I also sell on Amazon now, and I have my own products. Like this one in my bag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Let's put it back to the camera because I didn't really see it. Can you talk about that a bit?
yeah. Here, let me grab it. This is the full. This is the full product right here. So this is the Brow Doctor lamination kit. I don't know if you can see.
Can you pull it back a little bit so we can see more of it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The packaging is beautiful.
Thank you. And then this is the back. So this is like the card that comes inside. This is a lamination kit that is getting ready to be launched to Amazon. I already have 2 products up there. These are my brushes. They're on Amazon right now for $14.89. And then I also have my mapping string that is on Amazon as well. And this is the one that'll be coming soon to Amazon. So a lot of my products are because I had problems in the beginning, and I thought, let me try and solve these problems for other people. So this package will be $39.99. Most brow laminations are anywhere from I think the cheapest one on Amazon is like $20, and the most expensive one is upwards of like $80. It's just not necessary for it to be like $60 to $80 personally for me. So these are $39.99, and they'll last you, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 10 clients. And if you're charging, anywhere from $60 to $100 for brow lamination because it lasts 6 to 8 weeks, I mean, you're making your money back times 10. Which is the goal, right? I want to give people a reliable product that they don't have to break the bank just to get, so that they can't even make money when they bring people in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I like to give back.
That's cool. So your entrepreneurship is so inspiring to me. Actually on the 6th, I'll be my first year of like having my own studio. But so it's inspiring to hear like you're already ready to expand.
Next year, I plan to expand into permanent makeup classes. Where previously I did not offer that, just because I felt like I still needed to learn a little bit. I still wanted to get some things down. Also, I'm very hard on myself. Most other people I feel like have been telling me like, no, I think you're pretty, I think you're pretty good where you're at, but I am expanding into that, because I do feel like after hearing some of the things that I've heard about and knowing some of the things that I've experienced about people trying to find good permanent makeup artists to learn from, I feel like I could definitely give back in that area in a much better, more constructive, thorough way than what I've heard so far.
So we're going to wrap up soon here. I just have a few more questions. You mentioned how you went through a training where it wasn't exactly what you needed. So what should somebody be looking at to figure out the right course for them? And where do you think you went wrong in picking out your course?
But what I would say people need to look for a course is definitely don't just, one of the biggest things I see people go wrong is they will look at how many followers this person has, how much influence they have, how, if it's expensive, that means it must be, good. And unfortunately, there's so many times where that's not the case. So I would say if you are wanting to learn from this person, you need to be looking at their before and afters of their work, what they do, right? And see, that was another thing too. The person that I learned from would post multiple different people's work, and you never knew really whose was whose. So some people that did better work, would technically be on the page and all that stuff. It was a whole big thing, but it was really a whole big thing. But you know, that's what I would say. You need to be looking at their healed photos. You know, you need to be looking for, maybe even follow the person a little bit. Like, what are they posting? What is their mindset like? Right? Because, if you get a good permanent makeup class, and yes, they teach you brows well, but they don't have the right mindset, you're almost kind of taking that on. And now that's how you're going to run your business. And you don't want to do that. You want to take it from somebody who's actually wanting to help others and push them forward, and not just give you the bare minimum because that's what they have to do for the course. So I would say really just kind of hold out, watch. What do they post? Is their can get an idea of what their mindset's like? See their work. Is their work good? What do their reviews say? Read the reviews. Maybe if you can even find some other people that took the course and left reviews, or and talk to them, maybe figure out some people like that, message them, hey, I saw you took this course, what would you say about it? Sometimes you can't always know. So for the people that did take a class and it wasn't what they were wanting, and it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to work out, be gentle with yourself. We are human. It happens. We get bamboozled sometimes. All right. I think by the big shiny stuff, we're like, oh, this must be the good, where all the good information is, and it's not always the case. So just really don't try to get too sucked into any kind of marketing. Really just be thorough.
So we have our ending questions now that I'm going to go into. What is one thing you must do every day to feel successful?
Ooh, these are heavy questions. I love them though. I love them. Okay. One thing I do every day to feel successful. Well, one, make your bed. I know that sounds stupid and trivial, but it's really not, because it's very true. And a lot of people say this: when you make your bed in the morning, that is the first task that you've completed. And it just sets you on a roll for whatever else you want to complete throughout the rest of the day. So make your bed. And then keep going from there. Start checking things off.
I agree. Very good. So, what is one artist in the industry that you admire and why?
It's Beauty X Emma, and I worked with her at the other place. And I knew that going into it was a big deal for her. Going out on her own was a big deal, and so I'm honestly proud of her for doing the damn thing. That's one of the biggest things. I knew she was a little hesitant. Obviously it's a big scare. It's very scary. Jumping out on your own, not sure how things are going to go. And she did it, and she's still doing it, and she does great. She does lashes and she does permanent makeup. Um, she's got the hustle down.
The next question is, what is one resource that has helped you be successful in this industry?
10 out of 10 Square appointments.
Oh, okay, yeah, talk about that.
Use it. Download it. I should be a sponsor for them. I love their stuff. Square appointments specifically. One, it's free. So when I first started out and I needed to book appointments and I needed a platform, I needed a way to like get people in the system and get everything rolling. Square. It was there. It was easy. I didn't have to pay anything. And then obviously later I've upgraded. So I, have text message, email marketing and all that stuff. And you can pay for that later. But in the beginning, when you don't need it, it's amazing. Why? Also, you can go onto Square Appointments and create a website. So they partnered with Weebly. So I've had my website since I very first started, and I didn't have to pay for it. It was free. It was all free.
The website you have right now is through Weebly?
Not Weebly. It's either Wix or Weebly that they partnered.
So that's that's the Square website that you have?
Yeah, that's a Square website.
It's a website. That's a free website?
Yeah. Well, the one, no, no, don't let me lie to you. The one that I did upgrade, so I pay now for Square. For
Okay.
I think I pay like $15 a month or something now for
15.
Square. 15. Yeah, 15.
Fif-
For added features on your website. Basically, you can have more features on your website. So I think I have upgraded. So don't look at my website and be like, oh my god, that's free. No, in the beginning it was though. It's very limited in the beginning, but it gets the job done. You know, you
mm,
can put what you offer up there. You can put some pictures, and you can
mm,
put your booking site so people can book online, and you can
mm.
start making QR codes and putting those on business cards and going out and putting your business cards out there and hustling,
Yeah. So
and it was free.
you've given us so much guidance so far, but is there anything else that you can think of as one piece of advice you could give to artists looking for guidance in this industry?
I would say, because I was just thinking about it on my mind. I would say that you need to fucking hustle. You need to hustle in
Yeah.
the beginning, right? When you decide that you want to go out and start your own business, please do not expect it to be easy,
It's not.
and I don't want to, because I don't want to deter people though, because I don't want to be the person that's like, it's going to be shit the whole time. Like, no, yes, you're going to have to work your ass off, but yes, it's going to be worth it. 1,000%. So as long as you're willing to put in the work, you can be as successful as you want to be with the amount of work that you put in. So what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. When I first started, and I was only doing regular brows, I wasn't even doing non-permanent brows. I made business cards, and then I would go out to all the places that I normally would go to, and I would leave business cards.
Mm,
Like when I had free time and I knew that I needed those clients, like when I first started I had like maybe one or two clients a week. It wasn't like packed.
mm,
And so in that time frame that I had, as long as I had a babysitter, I was using that time to promote myself. you know
mm,
I was like, okay, so how much can I, and this was before I started running ads or anything like that. I will go in. I think right now I'm not running ads, but I would go in and I'd be like, okay, what do I need to do? What are the on social media, like what are the hashtags that are very common right now? What are the things that, like, do the work? It's going to be hard, but do the work. And as long as you do it, your results will come. And as long as you just put your nose to the ground and you just keep going, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to do it anymore, even when you're like, what am I doing this for? Push through all the emotions and keep going, because the results are definitely 1,000% worth it. Because next thing you know, you're going to have like so and so and so and so and so and so coming to you because they heard from XYZ clients that you have. And the people start showing up out of nowhere that know you, and you're like, I don't even know the person that you told me that
yeah.
so you just have to really, one of the biggest, all right, so that piece, right? Sorry, it's like my little ADHD moment, right? But this is my book. So this is my book for non-permanent
If
brows.
you pull it back a little bit so we can
Yeah, yeah.
see.
So this is the brow doctor guide, right? This is just for non-permanent brows. It just kind of goes over all the brow
Oh,
techniques. But it has mapping in the beginning. So if you do want it for permanent makeup, you could get it. It'll be on Amazon as well. But it has all the mapping in there.
nice.
So, and how to place it and everything. But one of the biggest things I have on the back of my book is my little quote. And I think this is what will make you successful 1,000%. It says, one happy client is worth more than 10 sets of brows done amazing. So communicate well, progress your skills, ask questions, and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Very good. Yeah.
So
That's
that's the biggest thing, because you got to treat people well. You got to remember that this is your business and it's
mm-hmm.
not personal. Nothing
Yeah.
is personal in business. So don't mix the two. And it's hard.
It's hard. Very
It's
good.
hard.
Thank you. You dropped so many gems, and I just want to say that if you guys are not following Chelsea already, Chelsea, what is your Instagram handle?
The brow doctor, THA brow doctor.
Brow doctor, yes, because I do follow you on Instagram and I do get those gems when I see you post your videos. And you can be having a hard day and then watch one of her videos and be like, right, like that person was absolutely insane, but it's definitely not me, it's them. So yeah, I appreciate all the inspo. I love all your packaging is so well put together. It's so beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
we're gonna link all of that in the show notes and then up on the website. But that's all I have for you. So is there anything else you want to say before we end this recording? You guys, we had to record again because I was looking through her website and everything, and I got on her Facebook. And we're in the Midwest, and what's really unique in the Midwest is to be of any cultural background and then service other people. So if you look at my Instagram, it's unique because I have everybody on there. You can be Black, Asian, everybody, you're there. But I never see that. And that was really important to me when I started because I wanted to service everyone. I looked at Chelsea's, it's unheard of to see the diversity that she has on her site. If you look at her cover photo on Facebook, which is linked in the show notes, you'll see every hue on there. We don't do that in the Midwest. Okay. So Chelsea, let's talk about that. Like, because I love that because permanent makeup is for everybody. So
Yes.
how did you do that?
So I just feel like I have always in my life in general gotten along with everyone. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's an anomaly. Like it just does not exist. And
It
I
doesn't.
I think the divide, one, obviously it's racial, but I think
Mm,
the divide is two, it's the Midwest, and people tend to stick to what they're comfortable with.
sure.
And I think most people are comfortable with similar skin tone to theirs, right?
Hmm.
Because that's what they know. And so if they weren't taught that in the training, which they probably weren't, to be
Right.
honest, then they're not going to branch out, right? So that's actually a big, big piece that I want to touch on when I do next year have my permanent makeup classes. I want to touch on the diversity of brows because if you can learn color theory, right? And skin tone just in general, and the Fitzpatrick scale would help you phenomenally, anyone phenomenally. You could do anybody's brows, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But I'd also like to say so when I was first started, what I was saying is I've gotten along with everybody, right? Like I don't really have like, you know, just a group of like white friends or a group of like black friends or, Asian friends or what, I get along with people for who they are and I'm very down to earth. And I feel like that has always, I'm a talker and I'm a vibe person. So if you got good vibes, let's talk. The environment though, in which you start in could potentially lead to one route, right?
Hmm.
Whereas like that's your soul group of people that and they're telling another soul group of people. And so I think honestly one of the biggest reasons that made my portfolio as diverse as it was, and maybe even into now, is that I was in the military.
Mm.
And so when military see a person that was in the military, they're like, oh, okay, like we just have this in our mind, like, okay, we can get with that, And so when the military, you know, we were all green. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter. And so I think that that is a piece of that too, because you get whoever you get from the military, from like whether it's Scott Air Force Base or somebody that's just moved here or just got out or whatever, or veteran or whatever. But before that, I also started out in a school in St. Charles, and it was pretty diverse. At least the night school that I went to was pretty diverse. But I will tell you this, in St. Charles, specifically in that class and in that school, although it was diverse in the class, it was very separated, you know. Uh, and I felt like at the time when I was in the class, I felt like at the time, like I was like the glue a little bit, between the black girls and the white girls that we had. Cause ours wasn't very like super diverse where we had people from all different cultures. It was pretty much black and white. And I felt like I was kind of the glue. I was like, we all could get along actually. Like it would be fine. So, and that ended up, it was very tough. And I think a lot of it is the area, that people come from and the way that they're raised and the ideology that they have and that they choose to move forward with in their life. And I think if you decide that, that factor is not going to weigh in your business, and it's not going to weigh in on how you deal with people and treat people, then you'll be successful, because you can talk to anybody and you can do anybody's brows. We got to step outside our comfort zone and decide that we want to expand.
All right, everyone, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I cannot wait to connect with each one of you. Let's start on the Discord server. As you know, the invite is in the show notes. So if you need to reach out to me, you can reach out to me there. Also, make sure you check out our website, thepmustudent.com. I would love to feature your story on thepmustudent.com. As I mentioned before, if you think that you're not a writer or your story is not significant enough, you're wrong, babes. Because every story is important. And I'm not just saying that. I can edit it. We can jazz it up. Listen, if you read my article about when I lived in New Orleans, lived in Beyonce's neighborhood, that was simply a walk through a neighborhood, but it was jazzy, right? I can help you. So don't think your story is not significant enough or that your writing is not good enough to be featured on the site, because I'm going to edit it. We're going to work together to get it posted. So make sure you check out that site. Make sure you reach out to me on Discord. And if you have any questions, ask away. All right, I'll be chatting with y'all soon.